Hello and welcome to This Day with BJ Arnett. I am so glad that you all are joining me. I have a funny story to tell you. In recent years, we moved to a property that has a bit of land. And in our neighborhood, between my neighbor's house and my house, there was this deer that passed away. But I wasn't at home. My husband sent me a picture of the deer being carried off by 3 vultures. And this brings me to today's guest. Georgia Department of Natural Resources, Wildlife Resource Division, Kaitlin Goode. Thank you so much for being here. I gotta ask you, I'd never seen anything. I grew up spending summer times with my dad in Franklin, Tennessee, and he built the house with his hands, and behind the house was all the hills, and I saw all kinds of critters come out of the mountains, but I'd never ever seen a deer, like I've seen deer, on the side of the road, but to see 3 vultures, pick them up, move them, pick them up, move them, eat, and then when they finish, the little vultures, they would usher them in, like you would see them pushing them in, then they'd eat, and then they'd move the carcass again, and they kept moving it back further in to the land between my neighbor and I, and my husband and I stood there fascinated. People going down the street were stopping their cars, rolling down their window, and taking video of it. It was amazing. But how does that happen in a neighborhood? How does that happen that these wild animals, birds, are right there next to us?
They've been here, since we've been here, and so wildlife is really well adapted to living in different places, particularly deer and vultures, foxes, coyotes, bears are all.
So the city noise does not bother them. The cars going up and down the street, that's what I always think, do you see that car?
It's something that they get used to, right? So we'll have, bears in particular is a good example, we'll have them come down out of the mountains trying to find new home ranges for themselves, and it's something that they progressively get more and more used to. So the first time they see a car, it might be scary, and then they're like, oh, nothing happened. And then the next time they're less scared, and it just builds from there. Which is why you see deer on the side of the road just watching cars go by.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like they're watching the humans. It's so funny to me. But then you see that the neighborhoods have changed. We're seeing more bear sightings. We're hearing more sightings of animals coming into the community of a subdivision.
Yeah, and it's probably 2 things. One, for sure we have more bears in the mountains. That population is growing, but it's also that people have Ring doorbell cameras. Like everybody's got a doorbell camera
now. You
now.
see it now.
And so it's more visible. And so
but they've been doing it all
here.
along.
Yeah, they've been here. We just haven't seen them the way that we're seeing them now.
So as you go through your day and your job, what do you deal with every day?
We deal with a lot. Like today, so we get pages about calls, and we call people back and we talk to them about whatever issue they're having with wildlife. But I got a page today that said, somebody found a baby owl, and one of our rehabbers is full. And so is what this time of year is we get lots of baby animal calls,
Because it's spring.
It's spring, and everybody's breeding.
Everybody's breeding and birthing.
Yep. And so, what the big message for people is just to leave them where they find them. Don't touch them, because they're probably not orphans.
Oh gosh. So did you see my face just change? Okay, so the thought is,
right, you want to save it, right?
Yeah.
That's an instinct for us. But wildlife doesn't abandon their babies.
Young.
Yeah, they take care of them. If we have an owl fall out of a nest, we can put it back in the nest. People can do that if they know where it is, or just a fledgling bird, they can do that. If they know where the nest is, make an artificial nest, and mom will come down and feed them. But it's much better to let mom do her job versus us interfering.
So, wow, that just brought a whole slew of thought. So when you are seeing a bird's nest on the ground, and I've seen that many times in our neighborhoods, it is better to leave it there because somebody's watching for it.
Yes, absolutely. You know, the parents will leave their young at the nest site or the den site. They'll go out and forage and come back and bring food back. So they know what they're doing. And so it's always best to just to leave it there unless you know, for example, when we have fawn season is coming up in June, if you know that mom is dead because she's on the side of the road and there's a fawn, that's an orphaned animal. So if there's an adult animal present that's dead, then that's an orphaned animal, and that's when you want to come in.
Well, what about the situation where we're finding that like you said, we're recording it with our doorbells recordings and all of that, but we're seeing that there's so many different types of animals, and you know, for people who have lots of trees, you know, you're finding there's lots of snakes, and this is their season.
Yes.
What do we do when we see something we're just not real sure how you guys can help us here?
You can call us. You know, we've got a 1-800 number on our website, or visit our website. We have lots of information there on the Living with Wildlife page. And we can give you advice on how to make your yard less attractive for the animals that you don't want there.
I like that concept.
Yeah, so snakes, lots of people call about snakes, seeing snakes, that they think all snakes are venomous. That's not the case. More than likely, whatever you're seeing is not venomous.
So the big, long, black, 6-foot-long snake
those are
that I saw, that was yay big around, is not bad.
No, that's actually a great snake to have because they do a wonderful pest control service for you.
That's what my neighbor said, and I was like, yes, you're right. Can you kill it anyway? But when you see them,
just leave them alone. They'll move on. They don't want anything to do with you. More people get bit by snakes trying to kill them or handle them than they do just leaving them alone.
So just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
Then there are the oh gosh, what is it? I don't even know what it's called. The snake that is like staring you down.
Oh. Like the ones that are all coiled up?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just a defense mechanism for them. We have snakes, non-venomous snakes that mimic venomous snake colors, and that's why a lot of people get confused, and they'll mimic those behaviors too, where they'll coil up and they'll just stare at you.
They'll just stare at you.
They're waiting to see what you're going to do. And so again,
I'm going to run. That's what I'm going to do.
It's fine. That's what they want.
It works. It works. So as we want to protect our puppies and our, and our vegetable gardens, what are some of the safe things to do in terms of protecting our gardens and protecting our little furry friends?
The best thing to do for pets is to keep them in some type of enclosure. So like if you've got a dog, fenced in yard, keep them on a leash. Those are the best things that you can do. If you have a small dog and you know there's coyotes in your neighborhood, you definitely want to keep an extra eye on them. That's not going to be the coyote's first choice because it's going to be a little bit harder than, say, like a small rodent. That's their favorite food, but they can. And you know, for gardens, fencing is a great option. And again, we've got lots of information on fencing to protect your garden. Electric fencing is actually probably going to be everybody's best bet for deer in particular. But I know that's kind of a scary concept for people that live in neighborhoods.
Yeah, because you just never know.
Yeah.
But I get it. I do get it. But also the other things, I'm just dealing with our neighborhood.
Right. No.
The other thing that we're seeing a lot of is that when we are doing our small gardens, that we're not only attracting snakes and the deer come from everywhere, but we're also seeing that different small animals come.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't even know what they are.
And that's probably what is attracting your snakes, is when you have other food sources that bring prey animals in.
Okay.
That's when you're going to see coyotes and snakes, is because you have small mammals present. And so trash, birdseed, anything that would attract a small mouse would probably attract a snake.
Oh my goodness! So it's a shut down the garden.
It's a whole food web.
It is.
Yeah, for small rodents, small mammals are going to be a little bit harder, just because they can burrow and they can get around fencing a lot easier. I don't have a good solution for you on
because
that.
because it's a part of the reality of it. It really is.
Yeah.
With the neighborhood norm is to hear someone talk about chipmunks going crazy in the neighborhood, but they're cute, so they don't want to, do anything to hurt them. But how can we not hurt them, but also keep them out of the area?
So exclusion devices for if they're getting into your house, that's a lot of people have issues with that. But if you can find where they're getting into the house, putting out some exclusion devices, and again, there's tons of information about that, and a lot of it you can do it yourself. You don't need to hire somebody. You can hire somebody. You can hire a nuisance wildlife control operator to come out and help you with your exclusion issues. And then we have squirrels that dig in our garden, and we have chicken wire that we put over it. And that has seemed to help.
The squirrels and the chipmunks are the worst to me. I'm just like, okay, where are they coming from? And I don't know how to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And so do the chicken wire.
That's what we do because we have got a raised bed and we've got a chicken wire over it.
And that'll do it. Okay, that if nothing else, that for me made my day. But when I think about calling on the Wildlife Resource Division, I don't think of little things like that. I think of big things. I don't have a problem with bears in my neighborhood. Deer are running
amok.
We just laugh every year. It's like, okay, here they come. They really are, a part of the neighborhood.
Yes.
But other than that, we don't have the big animal problem. It is the little ones.
Yes.
Now, when we get into the flying creatures, the all kinds of owls,
yes,
loud, and then of course beautiful birds, constant. But we want to be able to have the wildlife and nurture that experience, but not have that overtake our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where's that healthy balance?
Native plants. That's going to be your best bet. It's going to attract wildlife that you want, but not in an overabundant way that like a bird feeder would. Bird feeders are great for supplemental feeding.
They're so cute.
Right, and it gives a great experience because you get to see them up close. But native plants are always going to be your best bet because, one, they're going to be way easier to take care of than anything else you can plant because they're adapted for our environment. But they also provide the best food source for wildlife. And you're going to be able to see more wildlife than just what you would bring in a bird feeder because it's going to attract pollinators, small birds, the bigger birds that will eat the small birds, and so you're going to have the whole food web.
So what is that?
So there's a whole list of it. If you go to UGA's extension webpage, there's a ton of options for you. But some good ones for birds is like beautyberry, blueberries, any berry really is something that would attract birds to eat.
And it would be a perfect thing to have in your yard, and you not be taken over by the birds.
Right, yes, absolutely. And you got to share with the birds, right?
So it's okay.
Yeah, but beautyberry is one of my favorites because it's a really pretty plant, and they're low maintenance, and they provide a great food source.
Now that definitely sounds like a plan. When you think about all the things that the Wildlife Resources Division gives people, what are some of the things that you want people to think about when we think of Wildlife Resource Division? What should we think of first, second, and third as the thing that you can help us with most?
We are a hunting and fishing agency, but we also do lots of other stuff that doesn't involve that. So wildlife viewing opportunities, our wildlife management areas are a great way to get out and social distance still during the pandemic. And summer's a great time to do that because there's not a lot of hunting going on. And
we can find it out all on the website.
You can.
And the website is GeorgiaWildlife.com.
Yes.
GeorgiaWildlife.com. You guys, make sure you have the greatest wildlife experience and don't run from everything like I do. That's the truth. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you for joining us. Have a great day. God bless.